Good afternoon. If you have just joined in, we have Talia from Purposeful Project in handling the chat today. So yeah, she's already put a couple of questions. Do let us know how you are today and where you are all coming in from. And whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to go and connect my charger one moment. There we go, just in case. All right. Do let us know in the chat where you are dialing in from today. And we will get started in approximately 30 seconds or so.
For some reason, I think the chat is disabled.
Ah, okay. That may be the reason why we're
That is the why no one's answering.
Are you able to enable it again?
Let me have a look. Nothing is simple in life. Let's have a look.
I was wondering, I was like, oh, am I just here by myself? But I can see there's something in the Q&A. Well, look, whilst you're sorting that out, Talia, I will get started with conscious of people's time as well. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. And this is hosted by the Purposeful Project. So thank you, Purposeful Project, for having me. I'm Artie Palmer, and today I'm going to be talking about how to make your brand stand out. So I shall get going with this. So as I mentioned, I'm Artie Palmer. Just a little intro about me. I'm a certified brand strategist and a qualified personal performance coach. I've had the opportunity to steer thousands of businesses and business owners to mindfully define their brand and use it with intent, joy, and impact. Why is this really, really important to me? Because I was a business owner when I first started. I was pretty much all over the place, had a very scattergun approach, felt a lot of uncertainty. So I started out as a graphic designer and doing graphic design and marketing, and I was kind of putting myself out there as I do everything for everyone kind of thing, and I felt myself kind of going around in circles, feeling a bit demotivated. And fortunately, I then came across coaching, and I came across brand courses and strategy, and putting these two together, I really, really realized the importance of having alignment and ownership as a brand. And it's not just about running a business, it was about building a meaningful and authentic brand. So when I started to do that for myself, I felt like I want to help other business owners to do the same. So I do have a little hashtag called brand mindfulness. The mindfulness comes from, I was very fortunate, many years ago, I lived in Malaysia for 10 years, and I met a mentor out there, and his mentors were Buddhist monks that would come from Tibet and Thailand. So I had my first taste of mindfulness teachings and meditations in those days. And I now bring that into business because I want people to be more intentional and conscious about what they are doing and the decisions that they are making, and to find a lot more fulfillment in building a meaningful brand. So let's get going. In terms of what I'm going to be covering today, you may have seen that in the Eventbrite already. So why do I even need a brand? These are questions that I've often got asked from other business owners. So I'm going to be covering these today. Why do I even need a brand? What are the most important considerations when it comes to creating a standout brand for your business? How does personal branding differ from business branding? This is a very popular question. The next one is, how long does it take to build a brand? And how do I get known on a shoestring budget? So I'm going to go into more detail for all of this, starting with why do I even need a brand? So as we are even more so in a more digitally connected world, which means that there is, it's just becoming more and more of a noisier market. People have a lot more choice now at their fingertips. They pick up their phone, they can start Googling, right, different businesses that they want to look for, or, they've got certain pain points and challenges, and, type it into Google and all these different businesses start showing up. So people have a lot more easier accessibility to businesses. Therefore, they have a lot more knowledge to make their decisions. And I would say, consumers are a lot more conscious and more aware about who they are buying from and why they are buying. So it's not just about having a business anymore. And this is what I'm going to share with you here as well. So you've got a business that sells, products and services. That's the whole point of having a business, right? You're selling products and services. But what you really need to start thinking about is actually what surrounds that business is actually an identity. And that identity is known as your brand. And it's these things around the identity of what makes up the identity of the brand that's going to pull people towards your product and service, because there's a lot more choice for people nowadays. They have more accessibility, so you can't just be a business that says I've got this product or I've got this service, buy from me. Doesn't work as well. People need to have a reason to really want to buy in, trust, and build that credibility from you. So these kind of things that actually represent, your brand, and that's going to pull people towards the products and businesses, is things like your communications, the ethos, people, imagery, traits of a brand, and the experiences that it provides. These are just some of the things that's going to help to pull people towards your product and services. But like I say, what we now need to start really considering is the brand that surrounds this business. So having worked with lots and lots of hundreds of business owners, and what I find that them and myself, what we all kind of want as business owners, and what I've whittled it down to, is to know how to appeal to our relevant target audience. We want to make more sales, we want to make money. That's the whole point as well, why you're in business, but it's not the only reason. You want to create awareness through marketing, to be the go-to person, product or service, and want to have momentum and growth. You don't want to be a stagnant business. You want to continue to have that kind of momentum and growth, and you want to make, people are wanting to make a positive impact through what you are doing as a selling as a product or service. More than likely, something that you are selling does create some sort of positive ripple effect or positive impact in some way or another. So coming back to, why do I even need a brand? Well, it helps you it clarifies what you stand for, not only to your audience, but also to yourself. And that will then help to communicate it effectively. I'm stuck there. There we go. It differentiates you in the marketplace, so you can be the obvious choice. So coming back to, we're in such a saturated market. There's a lot more choice for people. So by understanding who you are as a brand, what you stand for, and all of the different traits around the brand, it really will help you to differentiate yourselves in the marketplace. It attracts your ideal audience to you, which then, results in sales, more inquiries, and you're actually then, getting a real kind of focused audience coming to you, the ones that you really would love to be working with or, purchasing from you. And it makes it a lot easier then to talk to those real ideal audience that actually get what you need, what you're selling and providing in that sense. It connects deeply with your audience and creates loyalty. I mean, just ask yourself, how many brands do you, keep going back to? Why is it that you keep going back to them? There's a certain feeling that, has connected with you in a much more deeper way, and maybe not even purchased from that brand, but there is brands that you're following out there that do connect deeply with you because they maybe resonate with your values. They maybe resonate with the mission that they're on, or a purpose that they're leading with. And it really does resonate with you. So therefore, you're connected deeply with that particular brand. It helps you to stay focused and aligned. It's very easy, with being digitally connected, to also go off track, because it's like, okay, well, I can follow this trend, or there's this shiny object out there, and maybe I should be doing that, or I should be doing this, and you can end up going around in circles, feeling like you're all over the place. And that's because don't have a clear brand strategy in place. it positions your business as the go-to answer. So when you really get that true understanding of what your brand stands for, who you're here to serve, and all of those kind of things, you can then start creating communications and content that really actually talks into, you know, who you would like to work more with and who you serve in that sense, which will then help to position your business to that relevant audience. And really, really importantly, it builds trust, credibility, and rapport. You know, at the end of the day, ultimately, a buying decision comes from trust. You know, when we have enough trust with a person, a product, a service, a business, that's when we, you know, then either purchase from them, follow them, engage with them. You know, it starts building. I like to call it as a transference of trust. When a brand is giving transference of trust, which is constantly happening, it's not just the one thing that you do, it's how you consistently build trust, credibility, and rapport. So I like to say the progress of your business is determined by the understanding of your brand. And that's why it's really important to get this clarity around the brand, because this is what's going to help to make it stand out. Right, let's go over to the next question, which is, what are the most important considerations when it comes to creating a standout brand for your business? You may have come across this very famous saying by Jeff Bezos: your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. What I'd like you to do is, what I like to do is take this a couple of steps back and also get you to think. A brand is a combination of created perceptions. And it is those perceptions that form beliefs and create associations and connections to a brand. So if there's one thing I really want you to take away from this webinar today, is remembering a brand is a combination of created perceptions. And I'm going to read that out again. It is those perceptions that form beliefs and creates associations and connections to a brand. So what I really want you to think about is, what perceptions are you creating intentionally to form those beliefs? So when people do walk out of a room, they are saying the things that you actually would like them to be saying about your business, about your brand. So, you know, getting a lot more intentional with your communications, how you're saying it, how you're saying things, how you're showing up, how you're delivering something, the experience that a brand provides it, because these are the things that creates perceptions and beliefs. So when done intentionally, you are in a much better position of forming those kind of beliefs. So you may think, right, but how do I actually, you know, do this, create these perceptions? And it comes from really understanding your brand fundamentals. You need to have a brand foundation in place. And in order to have that, I've created a bit of a three-step model that I like to share and take my clients through and stuff. So step one is to clarify, you know, really clarify, discover and define what your brand is actually about, you know, why it exists. What's its purpose beyond generating money? You know, what gives you fulfillment from building this brand and doing this business? Because it's really important to understand this, because this will give you a meaningful sense of direction. Also, you know, what it wants to be known for. What does your brand want to be known for? You know, if the person is out of the room and they're talking about your business, your brand to somebody else, what would you like them to be saying? What would you want to be known for? So, you know, getting clarity around these things will help you then to start communicating it. What is it working towards? You know, what's your vision for the business? It's really important to understand, what's your growth intentions? What does success look like for you? What are certain milestones, things that you want to achieve? Because again, this is what's going to help you to stay really focused and have direction, because it's so easy, you know, to go off track and then feel like, again, you're going round in circles, that kind of thing. But when you have clear goals, intentions, objectives that you want to reach, then you can actually start working, you know, putting them as milestones and start working towards them. And that's also going to help you to focus your time, energy, money, and efforts as well, so you don't feel like you're trying to do everything in a short space of time, when actually you can space it out and stuff. Right. What's its personas, actions, and behaviors? In part of discovering and defining your brand, understanding your brand's traits, its characteristics. It's a great brand if you can like humanize it, because people connect with emotion. So when brands are more sort of humanized and they come across in that way, people tend to connect more with it. Um, so really understanding even your own values in that sense, because that's what's going to determine your principles, your actions, and your behaviors as a brand, just like a human being, right? um, who do you want to appeal to and attract? So discovering and defining this is really key, because who is your brand for? Who is your business for? Who are you serving? In that sense, it's key to understand this, because when it comes to creating communications, when you're out networking, you can be really a lot more focused and specific in what you're saying, how you're saying it, how you're planting, what seeds you're planting in people's minds about, I'd like to be introduced to so and so, or I work with so and so type businesses or size businesses. So having that clarity for yourself will then help to with the second part, which is around the create part. So this is, where you design and develop, once you've got a good understanding of your brand, then it's very much more easier to create the branding. So brand is what you stand for. Branding is the representation of your visuals, your messaging, etc., which is derived from your brand. So, this isn't just picking things out of a color palette just for the sake of it because it's trending, or going onto Canva because there's a nice looking feel for a certain post, and okay, I like that today, and then next week it's something else or whatever. No, get the brand bit correct first, and get clarity on the brand first, and that will help to inform the branding side. So if you're sort of like, right, we're an energetic, courageous, daring brand, then the visuals are going to need to support that, the messaging is going to need to support that, the wording of the messaging will need to support that. So this is when in step 2, to create, design and develop, you can work on then the visual identity system, the logo, colors, fonts, and brand guidelines, and all of those kind of things, the website, social media accounts, collaterals, packaging. For example, in the discover and define phase, if part of your purpose and values is around sustainability, being ethical and that kind of thing, then that's going to affect then how you design and develop the packaging side of things as well. So what materials you're using, and again, messaging and the content that's also showing up, imagery. It will help to create the right type of imagery that's going to support the brand and what it stands for. And then if you're a service business, the packages, the programs, masterclasses, all of those kind of things, that's going to be done in this sort of step 2 to create. And then the third step is communicate. So having this kind of sequential approach helps you to stay focused on what it is that you're trying to achieve and work on in a more step-by-step process. A lot of businesses will try and go, right, start a business, let me go to step 3 and communicate it and promote it and put it out on social media and stuff. But when there's no real sort of foundations in place, and then they find themselves like hitting a bit of a brick wall, or like they find themselves really blending into a market, they haven't differentiated themselves, they're trying to be everything to everybody, and then sort of end up being nothing to nobody kind of thing. So it's important not to skip the other steps. So when it does come to communicate, you're in a much better position to promote and grow the business from a place of much more certainty and consistency, because you know what your brand stands for. It's created in a way that integrates through your visual communications and your messaging and stuff like that. And now the part to communicate it, this is where you can do the marketing, really use your socials, get newsletters done, lead magnets, those kind of things, go out networking, be able to communicate it with, and articulate what it is that you do, who you do it for, all of those kind of things. You can have collaborations, do advertising, brand awareness, build your personal brand, but actually know why you're building your personal brand, what you're working towards, who you seek to influence, all of those kind of things. Start a podcast, and this is all going to then help with the sales of the business. So this is just a bit of an example of taking it step by step: clarify, create, communicate. And at any point in your business, if you feel like, oh gosh, I need to, work on this, on that. Come back to clarify. Or, is it something in create that you need to do? Or, is it something that you need to do more in communicate to promote and grow? But just to give you a bit of a guideline in that sense. And then it'll be a lot more easier to market your brand. And, we've got all these amazing channels and platforms available to us to be able to do that. And you're not just picking and choosing just for the sake of it. You're now actually being really intentional and you're marketing your brand. And this will result in helping you to stand out and get seen, attract your audience with ease, increase conversions, have a consistent narrative, having those emotional connections and associations, like I mentioned earlier, differentiate and outmaneuver your competitors. So now you don't even feel like, okay, well, gosh, what my competitor's doing, and you keep looking over the fence kind of thing. Well, now actually you're on your own path because you've created, you've understood your purpose, vision, values, and all of these different things, brand attributes and what you're working towards. And this will help with the on-brand messaging and visuals. And this will then, from what other clients have said, it's made them feel motivated, enthused, have a lot more certainty and momentum. And when you have these kind of feelings, it gives you that drive to want to, create, show up on social media or build your personal brand, or do take the actions, to create that growth and momentum in your business. I'd love this quote by Martin Neumeyer. I wanted to share. Marketing has shifted to mattering. Mattering is all about meaning, and meaning is the new money. So coming back to that, emotional connections and associations that brands actually provide. So let's move into how does personal brand differ from business brand. I've got a few examples here, and I believe Amelia, gave a talk recently on personal branding, so I thought I'd use her as an example. So personal brand, just like Simon Squibbs here, who's the founder of this Purposeful project, it's the personal reputation, personal brand, persona. It's about you. Personal reputation, it's about your expertise, knowledge, journey, and experience. It's nothing that anyone has the same as you. So it's very much about positioning yourself and the stamp of value that you deliver to others. Business brand is what it delivers. So this is, the products and the services and the identity around it, the values, the promise, culture, team, the branding, the experiences that a business provides. So I often also get asked, which one should I be, working on? They're both actually interlinked. The personal brand leads to business. And, if people are landing on your website and you're not there in person, that also then will lead them to, right, okay, let me get in touch with that person. I want to know more about their product or more about their services. So they are actually interlinked. You can also, work around your own strategy of, well, for example, with myself, I'm a one-person business. And when I started, I always knew I wanted to lead with my personal brand to get new business in and for people to work with me personally. So that's always been my strategy around that. My growth hasn't been, I want to grow a big agency or anything like that. So, I've been very focused about leading with my personal brand. Simon does a great job with leading with, with his personal brand and also with the business brand, the Purposeful project, as does Amelia, her team, and getting the business brand clout out there. So how long does it take to build a brand? Well, a bit of a spoiler alert here, for as long as you are in business. So please, 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 I want you to take the pressure off yourself. It is a brand building journey for as long as you are in business. Look at all of these. These are just some of the big brands that we know. They are still, advertising. They are still out there. They haven't stopped because they've reached a certain milestone. It continues, and it continues because they've all got strong purposes, brand purpose that they continue to want to live every day and, bring to life. So the last one is, how do I get known on a shoestring budget? Often get asked this question, and to be honest, I'm still use some of these tactics as well myself. So social media is fantastic. It's a free platform. Use it. That's what it's there for. Great way to raise your brand visibility. Groups in social media, go in them. They're there for a reason. They want people to interact. They want people to be on their pages, answering questions and stuff like that. This is a great way to get more known for what it is you want to be known for. Communities like the Purposeful project, Discord, it's fantastic way of connecting with people, building new relationships. Some people we're in the same boat, so it's always great to interact and chit chat with each other, and grow your networking that way, which now nicely brings me into networking. Networking is, for me, it's brought in 80% of my business. Getting people to, connecting with people, doing one-to-ones, turning up, letting their business networking, they're set up for that reason. So you can get to know each other's businesses, and help each other and support with each other in a like-minded environment. Engage with people, be active. By just sitting on, scrolling on the phone, or just being behind your laptop is not going to bring you new business. You need to be engaging with people, be active. If you're not sure about what to post immediately, go and be active on other people's posts and get known, get in front of the people that you would like to be known by as well. Doing exchange of services is a fantastic way as well. I remember when I first started my business, I did some exchange of services with a photographer, with an accountant. I did some brand identity work for them. They did vice versa. And it was great. We, genuinely loved what we did for each other, gave each other testimonials, helped to build our portfolios. I just would say with that, make sure both parties agree on what it is that you are delivering and you're happy with that. Deliver talks and webinars, great way to educate people around your knowledge, your expertise. Lots of opportunities to do that, through even a Purposeful Project and some other communities and networking groups you may be part of. Educate, take the time to educate people, because we know what we know, but how about sharing that with other people? Even the simplest of education around your expertise, just don't take it for granted. Continue to educate, because that's what helps people to understand why they actually need you and your products and services. Collaborations is a great way to expand on each other's audiences as well. So I like to say, make yourself visible to attract chances. If you're not visible to the right people, then how are you going to attract chances of getting new business and growing your brand? So finishing off with, your goal is to integrate your brand into every aspect of your business and communications. And that's what's going to help you to build a standout brand. Right, that's it from me. If you would like to receive bite-sized brand tips on a weekly basis, feel free to scan this QR code. And if you'd like to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram. And I'm going to go back over to you now, Talia, for Q&A.
Hi, Artie. Thank you so much. That was really informative, and you just gave so much value to our community, so we can't thank you enough. If anyone wants to raise their hand and ask Artie a question directly, or if you want to put something in the Q&A, please go ahead. I know Victoria's just put something in the Q&A. Do you want me to read it out, Artie, or would you rather read it?
Yeah, if you can read out the Q&A, yeah, that'd be great. And
okay, perfect.
Asked me to go back to the QR code. I'll just, yeah. That.
Perfect. So Victoria has built a brand that's now a trusted name within the field, and whilst members speak highly about us, we're struggling with conversation rates, i.e. encouraging members to give back through donations, fundraising when they've received support for free. Tricky to package, communicate intangible gains when it's more so a feeling received, improved confidence. Any advice on improving conversion rates?
Conversion rates is probably more, I guess it's about how you coming back to how you're making people feel, the whole experience, the mapping of that journey. Are there ways of making it easier? This one is, it's a little bit more of a, I would need to probably speak to you to get a bit more information, and I'm happy to have a conversation offline with regards to this, because it could be to do with the customer mapping of that, the journey that they are having. So yeah, that's, sorry, Victoria, it's probably a conversation to have offline, because I'm just conscious of time and a couple of other questions. Is that okay?
Perfect. Victoria, feel free to message Artie and she'll help you afterwards. Ben says, how would you go about choosing your brand name?
Yeah, so brand names, it's when you have a good sort of clarity around your purpose and what your brand is about, what you want to be known for, its USP, positioning and stuff like that. What has tend to happen with businesses that I've worked with, as a result of getting that depth of understanding, they've then been able to create or work a name which actually really coincides with that. So I would say, you know, get around the brand clarity side of things. When you have that clarity around your brand, that will then help to work around some names and stuff like that. And yeah, always, you know, try, if you can, keep it short and sweet as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Artie. Nick has raised his hand, so I'm going to ask him to unmute. Nick, are you there? Do you want to unmute? Not sure if that's working.
Okay, I thought I had.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. My message can be difficult for people in terms of it's contrary to the human agenda that's going on at the moment, as in the whole planet is being manipulated, and all the way through the pandemic. I've sort of seen it. I was diagnosed with Asperger's in 2020, but I've got this skill, this unique skill of I can see when people are being disingenuous, and so I sort of speak my truth, and I think I'm sort of formulating a business. And I'm kind of looking at, well, how do I put this business across in a way that is less confrontational? Because when you deliver truth to people, what happens is normally firstly they get upset, and then there's a couple of other stages. So then they turn perhaps into a hater, and then look for reasons why it's not true, because it's very difficult to convince people that they've been fooled, if you know what I mean. And it's not about it. So I'm shifting. As I'm talking, I'm shifting my focus into what's the message that I want to get across. The message I want to get across is that freedom is available to everybody, and so that's financial freedom and health freedom. And I'm looking at all the areas in life, the sort of 5 pillars in life where, and I see it's actually very similar to what Simon is doing with the Purposeful project. But I'm sort of looking at, well, people need to be, they need to be financially free first, or in fact, they need to be healthy first, and then they can be financially free. And so, and there's methods that you can do this where it takes very little time. So there's a way of creating an income where you can spend sort of maybe 4 or 5 hours a week working and being financially independent within probably a year or 2 years.
Right. So what's your question, Nick? Or
So I think the question originally was because I've struggled with social media, because I'm honest, like I speak my honest truth, and my honest truth is that any human being can be free, but part of that is acknowledging what's so right now. So what's so right now is everybody's been promoted, or they've in a health way, they've been promoted by Big Pharma, or the message has been promoted, and everybody's bought into this message of Big Pharma to have a vaccine. And that is, you know, there's consequences to that, and they'll be shown in the next, well, I don't know what the consequences are.
Okay, I think I've kind of got the gist of,
but it's quite challenging for people, you know.
Yeah. So firstly, what I'm going to say is you're not for everyone, and everyone's not going to be for you. That's for all.
Of course,
businesses,
yeah, of course not.
Right. And in terms of, you know, you mentioned that about convincing people, as a business, you're not here to convince. You're not here to persuade. It's, you know, people who will align with your truth, will be attracted to that.
Yeah, okay.
So
understood.
you're not here to serve every single person, and so therefore you probably need to get focused on your truths, what it is that you would like to be representing and want to be known for, and the people that will resonate with that messaging will be attracted to you, and the rest will be filtered out in that sense. So it's about getting clear around those kind of people who you do want to appeal to, which then will lead them into potentially your product, service, program, masterclass, whatever it is. Is that sort of the plan?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of in a coaching program at the minute, and I'm getting clear about what my what I offer is, in that I don't sort of see myself as just a one-to-one coach. I see myself as somebody that could steer humanity into a more positive direction, because as things stand at the moment, I believe that there are things happening in our planet that are going to take our freedoms away as human beings, and I believe that human beings should be free, and they should be free to experience being a human being, rather than being, the old system we've worked in is that you get a job, you go to school, you get a job, you marry, you have kids, and then you work till you're 65, and then you retire and only live for, in my father's case, another 2 years. And it's like,
so sorry, Nick, to interrupt you. I just want to make sure we're getting through to all the questions, but
okay.
I hope that answers your question, Nick.
Yeah, I think it's about getting clear about what the message is. That's really what I need to do.
Yeah, that's right. Clarify your brand, and then the messaging will also follow through.
Thanks, Charlie. And
Julia, do you want to quickly unmute?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Julia.
So I've heard about the Purposeful project and Simon Squibb for a while, and I'm just at the starting point of starting a new business. And there's quite a lot, and it's daunting and scary. The more you know about the business, the more you go into depth and more knowledge you get, the more scary it is, because you see the vision, you see the end goal, and seeing the reality where you're at, it's quite scary, and you get lost. You don't know which way to go, which step to take, and it's just working persistently, but I'm not really sure.
Can
I don't want to get lost because it's really scary.
I'm just gonna be really real with you. Whatever level you are in your business, there's always going to be something new to learn. It's going to evolve. There's going to be new technology. There's always something. What I suggest you do, just come back to where you are right now and take baby steps into, like, actually, why am I starting a business? What am I helping people with? What's what pain points and challenges are they having? What product and service, or product or service is gonna help them to do, get over that.
Yeah, I kind of have them mapped out, these things, but it's like there's a lot of support and help needed, and it's,
yes, I mean there are great facilities, great platforms and stuff that do offer new businesses this kind of information. Maybe just follow one or two. Don't confuse yourself by following 10, 15, and then it's like, oh, okay, that one's saying that one's saying that. Maybe just follow one or two key organizations or people that can just really guide you in building and starting out your business. I think there's lots and lots of resources available for startup businesses, and just follow their program, or follow the steps that they've shared in that sense. But it is very much baby steps. Don't try and climb step 9 and 10 when you're
No,
having
we
step
can't.
1 and 2. Do
We
you know what I
can't.
mean?
I
So
know
yeah,
we can't
take
do
it
that.
step by step. Don't, you know, focus on that. What needs to happen in order to get to the next step and the next step and the next step, and it all starts becoming a lot more manageable.
Yeah. I mean, is there any way that we could get in touch with the Purposeful project and see if they would be interested or willing to help?
I'll
with
leave that to
Julia.
Talia.
Yeah, hi Julia. Yeah, are you on our Discord channel? If not, please feel free to join it. I'll put a link in the chat, and then yeah, we can talk further on there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Julia. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Arthur. And it's very useful.
Good. Oh, great.
There was quite a few
I do have another call at 1:15, but I can take probably a couple of more questions.
Okay, let's just take some quick questions then. Ben said, in regards to brand, how broad would you go to start out or narrow down as much as possible?
In regards to business or brand, sorry, I need a bit more clarification on that question.
Sorry, Ben, if you can just clarify that, that would be great. Mark said, what are the pros and cons for having your personal brand name as your business brand?
It's probably more about also understanding, you know, what's your vision for the business. Are you looking to, so for example, I'm going to just bring myself in as an example. So my website is artipalmer.com. If I wanted to, from day one, if I knew that I wanted to build an agency, I wouldn't have gone with artipalmer.com. So it very much depends on your own goals and vision for your business. Are you looking to, you know, grow a team and hire people? Some people want to franchise, some people want to, you know, buy, exit and sell. So these things do need to be taken into consideration. However, even having a business brand, you still, you know, building the personal brand, because personal brand isn't just what you do online, it's what you do offline. It's about building relationships, credible relationships that form maybe collaborations or, you know, with investors and that kind of thing. People buy into people, they connect with people, people refer people. So building personal brand is still equally, you know, it's still really important, even if you have a business brand. So Mark, you know, have a think about what's your vision for your own business, and, you know, you can make a decision from that.
Perfect. Thanks, Artie. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And everyone will see the recording in their inboxes tomorrow. I know there's a couple of more questions and people have got their hands up, but feel free to reach out to Artie or feel free to join our community. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't get through all the questions. All right, take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Artie.
Thank you
See you
all. Bye.
soon. Bye.